Welcome back to the C Show, a wrestling show for the common fan. Whether you're brand new to the world of sports entertainment, you're coming back after a while, or you've been here the whole time, I'm Charlie.
I'm Connor.
Jared.
Happy belated birthday, Jared. It was your birthday last week. We forgot to celebrate it.
43 looks so good.
I am 34. 3?
I
33.
You're asking me.
I am 33 years old.
I turned 32 on July 10th, so yes, that's how we're measuring it here. Do you know the easy way how I remember Jared's birthday? It is the anniversary of the Battle of Bunker Hill.
Yes.
Next year, I believe, will be the 258th anniversary of the Battle of Bunker Hill and Jared's 35th birthday.
Shout out to my friend Andrew, who's definitely not listening to this, who also brings that up every time.
I wonder if anything cool happened on my birthday.
I don't know. We'll have to wait.
I feel like I would have figured it out by now.
We'll have to wait until later. We'll
wait till it gets closer to my birthday.
Yeah, we'll wait until we get closer to your birthday. All right. Well, we've got a packed show for you. We're talking tables, as per request of friend of the show, Mez. So we'll be talking about the history of tables in wrestling. We've also got our typical AEW coverage. We're talking Swerve versus Ospreay, and then I'm going to be talking about visa issues and it affecting Forbidden Door. And then we've got our Forbidden Door preview. So stay tuned. It's the C Show. June 25th, 1984. Nelson Piquet won the Detroit Grand Prix the day before. Thomas Hearns beat Roberto Hands of Stone Duran earlier in the month. The Reflex by Duran Duran echoes on boomboxes around the nation. In a few days, France will defeat Spain 2-0 to win Euro 84. Goals from Michel Platini and Bruno Ballon propel Les Bleus to the title. However, on this night, it's CWA's Star Wars 1984 at the Mid-South Coliseum. Vince McMahon and company will make you think that wrestling only happened outside of the WWF in Smoky Bingo halls and Smoky Fire halls. No, it also happened in Smoky arenas.
What? Oh, I know this is a dumb question. I'm probably going to get crucified for it.
Mm-hmm.
Was Star Wars a thing yet? Were they just able to call it Star Wars? They were able to get away with that? Like they were already well a thing, right?
So Star Wars A New Hope came out in 77.
Right?
Empire Strikes Back
so far before.
Empire Strikes Back is 80, and then Return of the Jedi is 83. And so it's like they're like capitalizing on the end of the phase.
I can't believe they could get away with that.
Now, this was at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, correct?
Correct. So
I did some... I did a little... in this location, my favorite fact, is where Jerry Lawler would go on to pile drive Andy Kaufman in 1982, starting off their legendary feud leading up to the Late Night with David Letterman bit. An all-time hilarious thing that just existed to be funny.
Yes, absolutely. 10,000 butts are in the seats to see Dutch Mantel, Jim Neidhart, the Rock and Roll Express, Robert Gibson, and Ricky Morton, Rick Rude, Coco Beware, the Road Warriors, and the King of Memphis himself, Jerry Lawler. Randy Savage and Leaping Lanny Poffo are facing off against the Rock and Roll Express, Robert Gibson, and Ricky Morton in a mid-card brawl. After a 9-minute match, Angelo Poffo, Lanny and Randy's dad, interferes and tosses Ricky Morton over the ropes. On the floor, they're fighting until Randy Savage pile drives Morton through the table, breaking it. The brawl continues. The crowd is appalled, screaming. The Poffos continue brawling outside the ring, the bell ringing successively to stop the action.
Is that the origin story?
This is... I'm going to pull it up here. This is the first televised table spot. CWA Star Wars, June 25th, 1984, 42 years ago. As you're listening to this... So that's Angelo Poffo, Lanny, and Randy's dad disqualifying. And you see Randy here on the outside of the ring with his signature yellow shorts. And him and Lanny pick, I believe, it's Ricky Morton. So they're brawling after the match here. And again, Morton is on the table here. Yep.
There's literally screams in the crowd. Like
that is not the right type of table.
There's people screaming. Yeah, that definitely hurts so bad.
Mm-hmm. Let's make sure I can pause this. Okay, cool. So the Poffos continue brawling outside the ring, and the bell ringing successfully, trying to stop the action. So this is the first televised instance of a table spot. So the earliest that I can find, it's 1984.
Good for Lanny Poffo. Because could you imagine the soul crushingness of being Lanny Poffo, and you're like, no, I fight with my brother. Like, oh, what's your brother's name? Macho Man Randy Savage.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, what, he doesn't have to go by Poffo?
So you've continued to specify first televised TV spot.
Yep.
Do you have anything about like when the first recorded or the first, I don't know, reported? I'm sure they say, I bet Abraham Lincoln was putting dudes through tables. Like,
are you not familiar with the storytelling technique of in media res, where you start halfway through and then you go back to the beginning?
You were just saying it real specific like, and I'm like, I feel like I'm getting Inception.
A few weeks later, Ricky Morton is dragged over to the announcer's table by Angelo Poffo. Savage sets Morton up for a pile driver, but Savage is sent into the table over Morton's back. Angelo Poffo ends the match by attacking Rick Morton in the ring, but the brawl continues. Again, while this isn't the first instances of a table being used in professional wrestling, it's the first that's televised, and as we discussed last week, recorded, shared, and inspired. So today we're talking about tables in wrestling. That was our prologue, the first televised table spot. Our next chapter here, all in European origins and American innovation. So between the wars back in Europe, Greco-Roman wrestling had waned in popular interest, and catch-as-you-can style wrestling became popular in the United Kingdom. Most pro wrestling can tie its origins back to catch-can. It was more flexible than other styles of wrestling, and was even an Olympic sport for a while. Weapons became popular, and the violence led to wrestling being banned in the UK until 1947. I took journalism in high school, and you learn about the idea of, quote, if it bleeds, it leads early. Wrestling promoters figured this out too. If a wrestler bled, people loved it. Talent developed techniques to make themselves bleed, typically by hiding a razor blade in their ring gear, and talents like Wild Bull Curry, Dory Funk Sr., and Giant Baba, the future founder of All Japan Pro Wrestling, brawled across Japan and the southern U.S. This is also around the time that the steel cage was also popularized. There were 2 matches in 1937 and 42, but the match type exploded in popularity in the mid-20th century. Heck, the NWA even had a brass knuckle championships for a time.
Just imagine you're watching wrestling and it is what it is, and they're like, here's a cage match. You're like, excuse me? And then they just start, like, all of a sudden they go from, like you said, like 3 to it explode, and you're like, oh, this is just a thing we do now. Okay, this is bananas.
And it escalates so much further in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s to what we see today. Elimination Chamber, all of that.
Inferno match? Like,
yeah.
The idea of an Inferno match is, and yes, they do it safely and all, but again, like, imagine going back to the 40s and being like, this match is over when one of them gets lit on fire. They'd be like, are they a witch?
Imagine explaining what we're going to talk about like frontier martial arts work, martial arts wrestling. Hardcore wrestling was a hit with fans and wrestlers alike. Fans enjoyed the lead up to violent hardcore matches and brutal violence, and the creativity wrestlers brought to the ring. The original Sheik, Bobo Brazil, Carlos Colon, The Invader, Jerry Lawler, and the deathmatch legend himself, Terry Funk, innovated hardcore wrestling in the 60s and 70s.
Hell yeah.
FMW, Atsushi Onita and the Young American. In Japan, Atsushi Onita, who was the first to graduate from the All Japan Pro Wrestling Academy under the tutelage of Giant Baba and Terry Funk, had retired from wrestling in 1985. He had accumulated a ton of injuries and needed to take a break, but it didn't last long. Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling was established at the end of 1989. Their first event was on October 6th at the Sushihashi Sports Center in Nagoya, Aichi, Japan. Initially, Onita wanted to feature both non-worked martial arts fights alongside professional wrestling bouts, but it became immediately clear that FMW provided a higher level of violence compared to its competition in Japanese pro wrestling, and the focus shifted to deathmatch wrestling exclusively.
Hell yeah.
Known as the Sheik, Edward George Farhat's career was on the decline after his company, Big Time Wrestling, folded in 1980. He was floating around the independents in the U.S., so when Onita and FMW reached out, it was a big deal. The Sheik also used this as an opportunity to take his nephew, Terry Brunk, also known as Sabu, to get some good in-ring experience and potentially avoid dangerous situations at home.
Terry Brunk.
Terry Brunk.
That is Sabu's shoot name.
That is his government name.
That was the name of my barbarian in D&D, and everyone's like, "Oh, Terry," and I'm like, "Absolutely not Sabu." And my character would always just point to the sky.
So when they had that like no ropes barbed wire only match, it was Terry Brunk versus Terry Funk.
Yeah, sure.
That happened a lot, honestly. Terry Brunk versus Terry Funk.
Yeah,
yes, it did.
Them being on the same card.
Wow, it's enough to make a man Terry Spunk.
No, absolutely not. You stop clapping for this son of a bitch.
This is the type of content you get when you send me your notes ahead of time.
Don't spoil it for him.
Oh, he already said that. He's like, I'm looking at Charlie's notes. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, I haven't told you yet.
You're trying to pay me into a corner.
Yeah,
pay me into a corner.
We're trying to put you into a situation you unjustifiably not be in.
Fantastic.
According to Sabu's autobiography, Sabu, Scars, Silence, and Superglue, co-authored with Kenny Casanova, quote, during the flight to Japan, the Sheik encouraged me to embrace a unique wrestling style that mirrored my backyard practices, thus allowing me to shed the generic wrestler image and embrace the Sabu character. I felt liberated to express my daredevil spirit in the ring, end quote. There, he began smashing through tables, even after successfully winning matches, becoming a signature for him. And
Buffalo Bills fans.
Yeah, he just didn't care. Like, literally, when you talk about for the love of the game, he's like, I won the match. Oh, they want to see me go through a table. I'm going through a table. For the love of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, so the next one here that I have is Kane chokeslamming Sabu through a table in the WWE after the ECW purchase.
Oh my God, 2007, prime time.
Boom.
Jeez.
Yeah, and so those were just like the sort of the lengths that Sabu was willing to go to.
And I bet that was just like some bum-ass weeknight TV show that he was like, or even if it was a pay-per-view, even if it was a bum-ass
it was
TV
an episode of Raw.
Oh, right. He's like, oh yeah, Raw, that I'm on every... Yeah, just pick me up. Literally, Kane is almost 7 feet tall.
Yep.
The ring is however far off the ground. Even though, like, again, the table does make it safer, which I always think is so funny, because it always looks so wild. They're like, they're the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, because it's technically breaking the fall. In 1993, Sabu returns to the U.S. to wrestle in Eastern Championship Wrestling. As we know, the next year would be huge for ECW. Sabu brings it home and Dudley domination. Eastern Championship Wrestling had started in Philadelphia in 1989, same as FMW.
Represent.
And joined the National Wrestling Alliance in late 1993. However, ECW was one of the strongest territories, and owner Todd Gordon and booker Paul Heyman made a plan to secede from the NWA after various disagreements between the duo in Philly and other NWA affiliates.
Oh man, and Charlie and I watched it. I believe it was one of the things that we watched when we were first kind of getting back in, and you kind of had questions about it. Watching the episode of ECW where the turn, let's stay on brand, where the turn happens is unbelievable. Because
Shane Douglas wins the NWA Heavyweight Championship. He starts cutting this promo. And then in August 1994, Shane Douglas threw down the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, quote, in front of God and my father, and announced that he would take the Extreme Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, establishing ECW as a new independent entity. In the mid-90s, ECW's embrace of grunge aesthetics, lucha libre, and Japanese wrestling, and due to its lack of corporate oversight, violent action, including hardcore matches, the use of weapons, and edgy storylines, proliferated. Segments like the crucifixion of the Sandman by Raven or New Jack's trash can full of weapons drew ire, but pushed the envelope. According to the Federal Communications Commission's, quote, federal law prohibits obscene, indecent, and profane content from being broadcast on the radio or TV. That may seem clear enough, but determining what obscene, indecent, and profane mean can be difficult depending on who you talk to.
But I'll know it when I see it.
And that's literally the Supreme Court ruling around it.
And Paul Heyman did everything he could, especially eventually there were arguments between him and the network. He was basically trying to get kicked off the network so then he could sue and complain. Just wild stuff that we could spend 4 episodes on, and we'll come back to it some point.
By the way, considering you just blazed right through an insane statement to 99% of all human beings, yes, they did do a crucifixion. here in Philly. They crucified a guy at High Incident, which was also the professional wrestling debut of Kurt Angle on commentary and featured a RVD and Sabu tag.
Well, let me tell you one other, like, this changed wrestling history because
I never knew about it.
So,
that's why I'm like, I can't go back because, like, I'm sure.
No,
there are
and I
people
appreciate
like me.
that. Like, I didn't even think about that. So Kurt Angle is there, and he likes Paul Heyman, and it seems like he's going to sign with ECW.
He's just won in Atlanta. He won a gold
he's
medal
hot
with a
right
broken
now.
freaking neck. He's courting entering professional wrestling because that's sort of the move for wrestlers in that time, for Greco-Roman wrestlers in that time.
He was a freestyle wrestler, wasn't he?
He was freestyle? I'm not sure of the specifics. Folk style.
Freestyle, baby. Yeah, true. Folk style, bite me. No, really.
More on freestyling in upcoming episodes.
Oh, that's a dope drop. But so literally, he's there and he has his talking party and he's thinking about ECW. He sees the crucifixion angle and he is like a devout Christian.
Mm-hmm.
He literally walks to Paul Heyman and he's like, if I see anything else with my name on it, if you mention even my name again, I'm gonna sue you to everything. He's like, I'm gonna try and make it so you can't even use this, like what you have already. He's like, I will never do business with you again because he was so offended by it.
Heyman was
Nerd.
was forced by hand to tell Raven to go back out there and give an apology. And if you talk to Raven, you talk to Sandman, they've talked about it in interviews. They both didn't want to do it. They both thought that it held up. The whole point was to push the envelope. And yeah, you're right. Like, what, Angle goes to WCW after that? Or no, he goes straight to WWF at the time.
Right, straight to WWF and takes off.
Yeah, I mean, one of the greatest, easily. All right. So the best practices advise that indecent and profane content are prohibited on broadcast TV and radio between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. when there is a reasonable risk that children may be in the audience. Since ECW program was often broadcast after midnight on regional sports channels and the country cable channel eventually, Gordon and Heyman often took advantage of this, flaunting copyright restrictions and encouraging over-the-top spots. In February 1995, ECW hosted Double Tables, with the main event being the tag team of Sabu and Taz, supported by Paul E. Dangerously Heyman, versus the Public Enemy, Johnny Grunge, and Rocco Rock, in a Double Tables match for the ECW World Tag Team title, Sabu going through a table on the outside to take out Rocco Rock and win the tag team title. ECW also experimented with combining tables, ladders, or chairs. Sorry, let me go through that one more time.
One or the other.
Get fucked, nerd.
ECW experimented with combining tables, and ladders. Sorry.
Combining tables and ladders, or tables, ladders, and chairs.
Including a November 97 tables and ladders match between Sabu and Sandman at November to Remember, or a three-way tables, ladders, chairs, and Kings match between the Sandman, Steve Corino, and Just Incredible for the ECW World Heavyweight title in 2001. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, traveling salesman named Big Daddy Dudley traveled around the country, seducing women across the land. He sired at least 11 children.
Including Connor. Can you name any of these children?
Oh, I can name a handful. So right, there's Big Dick Dudley.
Yep.
There's Dances with Dudley.
Yep.
There's Sign Guy Dudley.
My favorite.
There's Bubba and Devon.
Of course.
There's Spike.
Mm-hmm. And Spike was another guy who Undertaker chokeslammed out of the ring straight onto the floor.
You probably saw the same interview where Undertaker says he was talking to Spike. He's like, I saw that clip, and then I saw Spike soon after. And I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. Why would I do that to you? And Spike's like, it was my idea. Like, I wanted you to do that. Like, that was my idea. You didn't want to, and I had to beg you to do that. Again, just an absolute maniac. I think that's all the Dudleys I got off the dome.
I'll give that was pretty good. I'll give that.
I don't even know how many that was. I think that was like 7.
Yeah, I only put 3. I put Sign Guy, Little Spike, and Dances with Dudley. But most importantly, to the implementation of tables as weapons in wrestling, Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley. The history of the Dudley family is long and storied, but the brothers, Bubba and Devon, were innovators, pioneers, and titans of tag team wrestling. Bubba joined the Dudleys in October 95 and Devon in spring 96. They created the 3D, or Dudley Death Drop, a combined flapjack, which is picking up the opponent and dropping them down by Devon, and a cutter, grabbing the opponent by their neck and bringing them down by Bubba, often putting their opponent through a table, face first. At Heatwave 1999, in a tag team match for the ECW World Tag Team title, where Devon and Bubba powerbomb both Spike Dudley and Balls Mahoney through a flaming table, the first time it had been done on the pay-per-view. Bubba and Devon's popularity led to an offer with the then WWF. According to Tommy Dreamer, in the Rise and Fall of ECW documentary, Bubba and Devon only asked for a $1 raise to remain in ECW, something that the struggling ECW could not manage. The brothers went to the WWF, where they became the Dudley Boys, and Bubba was now Bubba Ray.
Yeah, his original gimmick, Bubba Ray, how his whole thing was just like he stuttered crazy style.
Yeah, stammering and they're kind of stupid. Like,
it's not awesome.
It's better than Eugene, if you ask me.
Dude,
as long as you never go full.
And then I love the 3D, especially too. And I don't know if you have any of this, to the point where he would push Devon and tell him to get the tables.
Oh, I mean, we'll talk about that here in a minute. But if you want to watch examples,
get the tables.
And like, if you hear them talk about the origin of that, that's also very funny. Apparently, there was just like one time that Devon forgot. So then, basically, Bubba was like, "Well, I'm just gonna say it every time because the crowd loved it." So he's like, "I'm just gonna keep saying it." And apparently, it annoyed Devon at first. He's like, "I know, we're doing the table.
We're doing the table."
Oh, that's right. I saw that interview with Chris Van Vliet.
Yes, thank you. That was also the Spike Dudley one as well. So this is Edge, I think. But yeah, again, right through the table.
Christian threw it. Oh my god. And
So-
they protected this move for a very, very long time. I don't think anyone... Actually, I don't know if anyone in TNA did. I know no one in WWF kicked out of it. They even offered The Undertaker. They're like, hey, if you want, you can kick out of this.
Mm-hmm.
In the another thing that's probably wild to 90% of people, the match where it was Undertaker against the Dudleys, and if Undertaker lost, they got to kill Paul Heyman in a vat of concrete.
Oh, God. The Attitude Era ruled.
I won't spoil it, but
2 of 10.
it's fantastic.
Tables, ladders, and chairs. Infamously, ECW basically imploded later in 2001, but its legacy would live on both at WWE and TNA. At SummerSlam in 2000, Edge and Christian would retain the WWF Tag Team title against the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys in a table, ladders, and chairs match. The table, ladders, and chairs match type would become a frequent staple in WWE. Between 2009 and 2020, the WWE hosted 12 separate TLC tables, ladders, and chairs pay-per-view/premium live events, in which the main event would be the aforementioned match type. TLC matches differed because the objective was to grab the title belts or other object that was hung above the ring via the ladders, rather than sending your opponent through a table. Other variations included the Thanksgiving Leftovers Throwdown, which occurred in 2021 during a Black Friday SmackDown. A table was covered with the usual Thanksgiving spread.
Oh, no. Who went through it? Tell me.
I didn't specifically write it down, but I believe Nakamura powerbombed somebody. It was Nakamura powerbombing. You know what? I'm gonna specifically pull it up for you because I love you.
I love you a whole bunch. And wait, what was the date on that again? Like, what was the year even?
2021.
God, I hope it was The Miz. I hope it was The Miz big style.
Because I hope this pops up like really. Yeah. See. Yep.
6.5 hours later.
It debuted on the November... This is all from Wikipedia, so I'm quoting here. It debuted on the November 26, 2021 Black Friday edition of SmackDown between Rick Boogs and Angel Garza. It is a standard wrestling match, table ringside covered with leftover foods. No competitor was thrown into the table, although Humberto Carrillo, who distracted Boogs, was thrown into the table by Shinsuke Nakamura.
Hell yeah, brother.
Shinsuke Nakamura rules. The Dudley Boys thrived in the then WWF at the end of the Attitude Era, which ended in 2002 with the end of the name change, which we talked about last week, becoming a preeminent tag team, holding the World Tag Team titles 8 times for a combined 281 days. They held the tag team titles the most in terms of like the amount of reigns. They don't have the combined like length as other tag teams do, but still 8 times is very impressive. In an interview last year with Chris Van Vliet, Devon revealed that the famous catchphrase, "Devon, get the tables," was actually an improvisation after Devon forgot to grab a table. It caught on.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
You think I was making that up?
No, I had read his notes, remember? I just
It caught on and became
I
one of
read
the
those lines.
the group's trademarks. Meanwhile, in the wake of the fall of WCW, Bob Ryder and Jeff Jarrett and Jerry Jarrett created Total Nonstop Action, or TNA, to provide an alternative to the WWE, and began running their own TLC matches themed as Full Metal Mayhem. Bubba Ray and Devon returning, now Brother Ray and Devon, in the third Full Metal Mayhem in 2008. Mexican promotion AAA has also gotten in on the action, having their own tables, ladders, and chairs events at Triple Manias between 2010 and 2019. In AEW, we've often seen tables be used as a weapon, and I'll talk about some of my favorites here in a moment, but some famous table moments include Cody Rhodes sending Shaq through tables, Mark Briscoe and MJF's tables and tacks match last year at All Out Toronto, which we talked about on episode 29, so you can go back and listen to that, or Pac throwing Darby Allin around recently. Tables are pretty common, and in the loose rules of AEW, they don't count as weapons. They're an extension of the floor. Tables have a long history in wrestling, so now it's time to talk about some of our favorites as we look forward to the future. Of course, shout out to Cage Match, Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report had a great article about tracing the origins of and evolution of the tables, ladders, and chair match, and they broke down sort of like the basic history of tables, ladders, and chairs in wrestling. I highly recommend checking out that article, as well as, what was the other one? Oh, yeah, Dark Side of the Ring, obviously. Season 3, Episode 10, Blood and Wire, Onita's FMW. And then The Rise and Fall of EC documentary as well. And then, yes, again, Devon Dudley in the Chris Van Fleet interview. If you're not listening to Chris Van Fleet, you should be. It's a really good time. Really good time. All right, you guys want to watch some table spots?
I would love to.
Yeah.
So I edited this all together for y'all. As you can already see, we already previewed it a little bit. So this is Jared's choice.
Yes.
This has no audio, so Jared, you can talk through it all here. Well, we've got Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Mr. McMahon at the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
So yeah, what you have here is Stone Cold and Vince McMahon climbing down or up, back in or to a cell
On a cage.
and they're whacking against each other, and Stone Cold bashes his Vince McMahon's head into the metal, and Vince McMahon takes a second and then jumps 57 feet backwards, lands on a table very poorly, and breaks his tailbone.
Yeah, this was a brute, and
then Stone Cold looks at him like, "The fuck did that moron just do?"
like, oh gosh, what just happened? Like, am I gonna be in trouble? Yeah, there's a whole lot of things going on.
Oops, I killed the CEO.
I wish we have audio, because again, if this is a steel cage match, then McMahon just won, which is funny, so I wish I knew what the actual...
You're right, I have no idea.
Hold on, everyone shut up. We're doing Edge Spear Cena at WWE CW One Night Stand.
The last thing that I want to say is, so I was reading up on this, and so Vince jumps onto the Spanish announce table, right? The Spanish announce tables famously break easier than the English commentary tables. They were designed to do that. I was reading on the backstory of it. It does feel a little offensive, but they designed them to break away like that on purpose. I think we could have all figured that, but now we know. All right, Connor, set this up for us.
Everyone shut up. We're talking about Edge spearing Cena at ECW One Night Stand 2006. So I talked about this a little bit with Rob Van Dam last week. So this is RVD taking on John Cena at One Night Stand for the WWE Championship. And RVD gets himself, at the time, FU to the floor, now attitude adjusted to the floor, a motorcycle helmet wearing assailant has entered the ring. And
he's also got a bitch and duster on.
He does have a dope duster on. So has showed up and has speared Cena through a table, proceeds to punch the ref. It's who else but the ultimate opportunist, the rated R superstar.
Man, he was a piece of ass.
Edge. He then gave the "you can't see me," and then that was the beginning of the end for Cena, and the quick beginning and end of one of the best title reigns in the history of WWE.
This is a great show and a great moment as well.
Literally, the crowd is cheering, "Thank you, Edge," because again, they hated that was the classic. If Cena wins, we riot. Like
there was such a negative reaction to Cena coming out. It's so much fun because everybody's just having fun with it. Cena is like, yeah, I know everybody hates me here because I'm like the dopey faced PG guy. So
yeah, the only show he like got booed at, like quote unquote
Hard.
seriously per se. Like again, people booed him when he turned heel, but they was all like, "Oh, you're heel, okay, boo."
Yeah. This was like
they were on his ass.
So this is your second choice here, and it's the Big Show accidentally losing the Intercontinental title to Cody Rhodes at Extreme Rules 2012. So again, if you go through a table in a tables match, you lose.
In any way, shape, or form. If you end up through the table, if you're the first one through.
So the Big Show is walking up on the apron here.
He has 1 foot up on the ropes. He steps over the ropes. Cody drop kicks his leg. Big Show steps backwards through a table. Like, he doesn't step on the apron. He steps through a table. They just kind of stare at each other, and then the ref rings the bell.
The ref's like, there's only one way that this can end, really.
Well, and there's a Big Show interview where they're like, that was an accident, right? There's no way. Like, they're like, you had such an expression. Like, there's no, and they're like, no, that is actually exactly how that was supposed to go. Like,
That's awesome.
that's exactly how we drew it up. And I'm like, that's amazing. Like, what an unbelievable. And again, his Big Show's selling here of just what the hell just happened.
So good.
And right, imagine that this guy will be, the guy. The guy in a handful of years.
Okay, so I included some of the Dark Side of the Ring stuff from here. So like the talking head interviews. So we'll just drop right into this. And again, if you have not seen the New Jack episode of Dark Side of the Ring, New Jack is the wrestler that threw another person onto me in 2014. He is one of the people that you can go and complain to about this podcast. Because like that's how I like realized wrestling is cool and real. And you should,
for anyone wasting their time on Twitter.com, he's dead.
Oh.
New Jack agrees to a rematch with Vic Grimes with even higher stakes. What Grimes doesn't know is that New Jack is out for revenge.
Before the match, I went to a pawn shop and bought a stun gun.
Yeah, I was there when New Jack, and he told me he was going to do it before it happened too. So, what did he want to have happen? He told me he was going to tase him
in the locker room. He came up to me. I was ready to kill the. He said, "I'm sorry." I said, "You didn't even call me." I stayed home for almost a year. You didn't even call me.
So Vic Grimes was in a match where New Jack got injured. New Jack took it very personally.
Well, they were supposed to do a spot together, and he chickened out, and New Jack like kind of made him do it anyway. And New Jack, I think that's what made him blind in his one eye, was that specific
What makes
incident.
his forehead look like
blading for 1,000 years?
20 years of blading.
That's what I was
20 years of cutting yourself open. So the text on the screen here is there are 4 levels of tables in the ring, scaffolding going 40 feet into the ceiling of the stadium. Like easily, like there's 3 or 4 levels of tables off of the ring, and again the ring is 10 feet off. The match starts normally here. They're just fighting each other. So they start climbing up the scaffolding. New Jack pulls the taser out, and Grimes is definitely selling here a little bit.
I bet he's just getting. And New Jack throws him off. And New Jack stated his intention was to send him to the floor and kill him. New Jack very much was like, I was trying to send him directly to the floor.
And I included some slowed down versions here as well.
Oh, dearie me.
So he actually gets tossed. He hits one table and like slams the back of his legs off the ropes. Like, thank God. Like, or again, he would have broken everything, and literally does this like backflip into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bananas, dude. Like,
hear
so
D'Lo
horrifying.
Brown talk about this here in a second. But yeah, really scary moment.
Vic was a foot from missing the ring completely, which would have killed him. I wanted him to hit the floor. I just didn't throw him hard enough. I was trying to throw his ass to the floor. So we don't piss Jack off, because a fight's never over until Jack says it's over.
I can't believe he didn't die.
I told him, I said, now we even.
Big Grimes is gonna need medical attention.
And yeah, and that's how the match ends too. They get on the mic and say, "This is over. Vic needs medical attention."
On tables, ladders, and attempted murder. Yeah, that's terrifying.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean, that type of match is so cool and really dumb to do if you're not like super professional. Like everyone's just like, ha, that guy, he was crazy. I'm like, you all had a duty.
Yeah, complicit at the very least.
Yeah.
This is a horrible failure on their part, but life goes on.
Next up, Connor.
Oh, this was huge. So Batista turns on Triple H. This is when Batista is still a part of Evolution. He has, I believe, won the Royal Rumble, right? He has his choice between who he wants to face, the champion of SmackDown or Triple H on Raw. And he's like, it's time. I'm gonna sign the contract for SmackDown. I'm gonna bring in another title. And then he does the thumb up. Hey, we're gonna do it. We're good. Oh no, frowny face.
Thumb
down.
Ric Flair and
Ric
Triple
Flair
H
has these two thumbs up.
astonished.
Crazy. Right, handlebar style Triple H is losing it. And then Batista ends up putting Triple H through this table with a huge Batista bomb. And like, this was such a big moment in the wrestling around this time. Again, Batista really exploding on, right, even more to being the guy, the main event guy, a world champion. And again, this turn on Triple H, so many people didn't see, right? They thought Evolution was forever. And he splats him down.
Whoa-pow!
Triple H sells the hell out of it. Like, how do you not put the world title on this guy right now?
Jay,
Like, look at
honestly,
him.
that looks so fun to get thrown like that. I want to try that.
Throw that table!
Yeah, JR earns his paycheck. I bet we'll get a classic, right? I believe he signs the contract and throws it on him.
Brilliant.
What kind of video editor would I be?
Oh, yeah, we see the whole thing.
So
I love when wrestlers do business with their titties out. There's shirtless manhunks signing contracts.
And again, calls him Hunter.
I'm taking the world championship from you.
Hunter.
So this is my first choice here. And they're both going to be Pac and Darby Allin. Because we talked about Vic Grimes and New Jack. But Pac and Darby Allin, I think, really, in the past year, have done some incredible things. So the first is from Blood and Guts, a show that I highly recommend. I heavily enjoyed. AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts from the 12th of November last year. Darby Allin and Pac have gone outside of the dual rings and cage.
Oh, yeah.
Overhead press by Pac.
If Darby Allin had been thrown off the scaffolding, he would have bounced back up.
Yeah. But Darby, of course, stop, drops, and rolls immediately.
Yeah, stays on fire
Darby
for
is
an extra,
on
3
fire.
rolls.
And then the next one is Pac again throwing Darby Allin through tables, but this is at Collision Fairway to Hell again.
That was such a sick show.
That was a great show. The way that Pac and Darby Allin used the space, the pocket sand, the bunkers, everything else. I loved it. It was fantastic. But again, this is Pac has gone up. They've set up tables, 2 layers of tables. Pac and Darby Allin have gone up to the second set of stands in the arena here, the TGL Golf Center. And again, another overhead press here by Pac. Or no, I don't even think it's just he takes him rings him by the neck. Yep. So this is a 30-foot drop through, again, like 2 layers of tables.
And he doesn't even go straight down. Again, thrown out over, right? Bad momentum. Kind of breaks the one with his butt and kind of keeps falling through.
But again, like, it's something that we see so often in AEW, and like even at like we saw it at Dynamite and Collision with Statlander and Sheeta, and us begging for tables. So
yeah, if there's any match where it's like a table could possibly be used, everyone will cry for a table. And just give it to us. We're babies. Just give it to us.
I like table.
At the one we went to at the Learcore Center. Oh, we were taunted for the table.
It was a Philly street fight. What I need a cane and I need some tables
and a cheesesteak.
Not that one. No, that one was gross.
Well, guys, what do you think about tables in wrestling?
just to look back at all these moments, and it's funny because again, they would also be big moments without tables, like right, whether title changes, heel turns, but again, just the extra layer it gives it, where it's like, no, Andrew were put through a table, and again, this is just scratching the surface. Like, even if we just went and talked about all the different flaming table spots throughout his, like again, an honorable mention for me is Edge and Mick Foley at WrestleMania. Mick Foley taking the spear through off the apron through the flaming table, like again, absolute hero stuff. Like,
I mean, Mick Foley and Undertaker Hell in a Cell. I mean, that's a whole episode in and of itself.
Absolutely.
I feel like every time I ever got like a new wrestling game as a kid, like the very first match you play is a TLC, a tables, ladders, chairs, and like you turn it like you don't even want to pin the person.
Yeah.
You just want to like get as many cool moves in as humanly possible.
Yeah, right. Figure out the meter, the taunts, do cool stuff.
Like it's just such an iconic thing for me for wrestling. Like nowadays, I think you see, more different weapons, which is cool. But to me, I'm like the classic, the iconic is the table and the chair and the ladder, but it's not called that. It's called table, ladder, chair. And I just want to say how blessed I am personally to have stopped watching WWE before tables got branded, and then picked up with AEW where they never were, because that would have broken it for me.
There's an episode of the C Show where you can go back and listen to me list out all. So the tables in Saudi Arabia aren't branded with the Slim Jim logo. Right. Why do you think that is?
They're not halal.
They're filled with pork.
Yeah.
So there's no Slim Jim branding in Saudi Arabia, and literally I read out all of the ingredients in reverse order of a Slim Jim on the podcast.
I recall that.
Yeah.
That was my favorite thing. That was my favorite part.
Because I was a little torqued off about that. I was like, damn, the Saudis don't get their own ads on the tables? Huh? Connor, anything else you want to add before we move on here?
Again, we can fill a book of episodes with this. I'll save some of my other things. Again, it's awesome. It's great to see people who do things. Again, it actually makes spots safer. It lets them do weirder, crazier things and protect themselves. So let it rip. I don't know. Stack 9 to the ceiling. Do a blazing hot corkscrew somersault, tuck the long way, and see how many you break. And again, thank you for doing it.
And again, thank you to friend of the show, Mez, for suggesting that idea. If you want to suggest an idea, you can do so on our Discord channel. Again, it only costs $1 a month to join our Discord, ko-fi.com/cshowpod. I'm just going to say it now, because you got 6 months left. In 2027, the price goes up. I'm setting it at $5 a month. So get in now, and you should be able to lock in $1 a month for life. So your eyes went up at that. That's a good deal, isn't it?
Yeah, like in these inflationary times?
In these inflationary times, absolutely.
Do you know how much I cost?
Jared costs so much money. Oh my gosh, the contract negotiations have been a headache. Well, you know what we're not going to talk about next on the C Show? Contract negotiations. Welcome back to the C Show. We're going to dive right into my topic. I'm going to be talking about visa issues here. Now, you might be wondering, why do visa issues matter when it comes to wrestling? Well, first off, Commander and Beast Mordos are currently unable to wrestle in the U.S. due to visa issues. This is from multiple sources, including Fightful Select and Figure 4 Wrestling Online. Mordos and Sammy Guevara are unable to defend the Ring of Honor Tag Team title in the USA. Sources saying that Tony Khan has been saying that they should be defending it at Grand Slam Mexico, at Arena Mexico, later this year. So we'll see if that happens, or if there's potentially some European dates where they compete. Over in Stardom, Maki Ito, Yuria Hime, and Fuwa Chan didn't travel to the U.S. For a WrestleMania weekend event. The visa process was quote, unusually long. In the WWE and AAA, Figure 4 Wrestling Online reported issues with the WWE, wasn't able to confirm affected talent. Figure 4 Wrestling Online also reported Blake Monroe and Joe Hendry also dealing with visa actually this is Fightful Select, Also reported that Blake Monroe and Joe Hendry, also dealing with visa or potential contract issues, both are not on upcoming European tours. Now, listen, I'm going to pivot a little bit here. I'm going to talk about, in soccer, in the World Cup, Omar Artan. He's a Somali referee, quote, denied access to the U.S. and will not work at the World Cup, and he was going to be the first Somali ref at the World Cup. Quote, Omar Artan is among Africa's most respected referees and deserves the support of the entire football community, said Sise Abdin Abshir, a senior advisor to Somalia's Ministry of Youth and Sports, and a former national team captain, in a statement first shared with Agence France Presse. Quote, I'm just simply a referee who's trying to live his dream, the biggest dream of my life, to come to the World Cup, said Omar Artan. The good news, though, is that Artan will be officiating the UEFA Super Cup, which will be PSG versus Aston Villa facing off in August. So that's the winners of the Champions League against the winners of the Europa League. And again, it's a huge deal because it's UEFA, the European Confederation, coming in and saying, hey, we want an African referee to come in and ref one of our biggest games. So it's very cool that the UEFA and AFCON have gotten together and done that. However, the Iranian national team, this is from Reuters on the 12th of June, the headline, Iran chief slams FIFA's lack of coordination on visa issues. Iran had to move their training base from Tucson to Tijuana due to visa concerns. From Reuters, quote, this is the first World Cup since its inception in 1930 in which a host nation is set to receive a country it is at war with. Not anymore, fortunately. Quote, we are here to talk about sports. We did not come to engage in any political activities, Mahdi Mohammed Nabi, a supervisor in charge of squad operations for the Iranian national team, said. So basically what Iran has to do every time they have to play a game here in the U.S., so as they've had to come to play in the U.S., in L.A., they've had to literally wake up in Tijuana, get on a bus, travel to Los Angeles. I think now they're allowed even to stay a night before the game, wake up, play the game, but then immediately after hop on a bus and drive back to Tijuana, which is at least a 2 or 3 hour drive from LA. And of course, beautiful name to hear here. Andrew Giuliani said, quote, Secretary Rubio said very clearly, anybody with direct ties to the IRGC is not coming into the United States of America, and they're not going to let the World Cup be the reason why they can come in. The U.S. has also denied visas to Iranian and African journalists covering the World Cup, implemented bond measures for countries flagged for high rates of visa overstays, and implemented travel bans against nations from 4 countries that qualified for the World Cup. Giuliani said the goal has always been to protect the interests of the U.S. and international visitors of the World Cup. We want to make sure that we have this incredible soccer tournament where people welcome and enjoy the World Cup, while also making sure that we are not just protecting American citizens, we're also protecting all of those international visitors that are coming in here, he said. Well, why does this matter, Charlie? Why do we have to circle back and talk about football? Well, the World Cup only happens every 4 years. It's a very special event, right? It's a big honor to host the World Cup, even though we spent way too much money to do so. And Forbidden Door is sort of the same thing, right? This has put Forbidden Door plans in jeopardy. From Fightful Select, quote, AEW Forbidden Door takes place next week, and a number of talent tell Fightful they still weren't sure what they're doing on the show as of this week's Dynamite. Fightful Select spoke to talent across AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, again, yeah, I see, I put the acronym in there, and I did say New Jersey, and CMLL said some of them haven't been told what their plans are, if any, for the show. New Japan had big title plans for Gabe Kidd, and injury in AEW sidelined those. Further visa issues affect Forbidden Door card. Again, the whole point of Forbidden Door is to bring in talent from other promotions, people that we don't often get to see. And again, the same thing with the World Cup. And again, especially since it only happens every 4 years. So it's really disappointing for this to still be happening. And I hope that we get, we're going to get a good show this Sunday, no matter what. But I just think it's really disappointing that we have to think about all of these other different various things when all we want to do is watch some goddamn wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling is not immune from the, other issues of the world and the continued, the bad things we do and get ourselves involved in, and it sucks because it's always gonna,
yeah,
it hurts the town, hurts the fans, it hurts everyone over stupid stuff that, the people who make way too much money and have no term limits get to decide for as long as they want until they die with their really great health care that they don't have to pay for.
I don't think the World Cup and Forbidden Door are all that alike, Charlie. But other than that, I think.
Listen, the line is a little scraggly and it goes all over the place, but it's there.
Everything else, yeah, I'm with you, buddy.
It's just frustrating, man. It's just frustrating.
Sure is.
We're going to talk about Forbidden Door here on The Seashell. Welcome back to the Sea Show. We're talking Forbidden Door. Connor, take it away.
So for the pre-show, the 0 hour, we have Divine Dominion, Megan Bayne, and Lena Cross taking on Thunder Rosa and Olympia for the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships. Being as this was only announced on Saturday, I really can't see anything happening here besides Divine Dominion. Keep on keeping on. Again, maybe they get pushed. This isn't the Eliminator, so it should be more than 5 minutes. Nick Khan might still only give it 2 minutes. Who's to say?
Tony Khan. Nick Khan is TKO.
Either Khan.
Come on.
Kubra Khan.
Next, we have Cope and Cage.
Can I say one thing about that match, though?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is that I think Olympia is going to be a true physical test for Bayne and Cross, and I'm excited about it. Again, Olympia overhead pressed Mercedes Moné. That was so cool. Very cool. Excited to see this.
Next, we have Cope and Cage, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage taking on the Dogs, David Finlay and Clark Connors. This is a tag team match for the AEW Men's World Tag Team Championship. Personally, I think the old man strength gets it done. I really like the idea of, the old and the young, the young guys being like, bring your balms and your oils and your ointments.
Your vitamins and your minerals.
Right, like some very funny back and forth. Cope and Cage still got on the mic and in the ring. This is going to kick ass.
Happy Father's Day, Christian.
Next, we have the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson versus El Sky Team, Mystico and Mascara Dorada versus Unbound Company, Shingo
Takagi.
Wasn't even that a hard one.
I thought there'd be a trick in there. I thought they were trying to trick me. Shingo Takagi and Titan. Can I say it like that? Is that important? Just go Titan. Yeah, right. I'm like, is there important taste in this 3-way tag team match? I would love for Mystico and Mascara Dorada to pull this out. I think that would be unbelievable. But I find it hard for it not to be the Bucks, and then they can kind of throw themselves into this tag team title picture.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Maybe against Cope and Cage, the Young Bucks are actually the Young Bucks.
Next, we have Jon Moxley taking on Bandito for the AEW Continental Championship. Again, I love Bandito. I want to put more gold on him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Moxley's dropping that until him and Ospreay fall out, and I think that's going to be the first when Moxley finally has to part with it. But I know they're going to put on a kick-ass match. Bandito's going to do some insane stuff that Moxley's going to sell his life for, and it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait.
We saw the Death Riders step in again to protect Ospreay. We saw Bandito sort of reunite and get worked by the Death Riders. And then also Continental Championship rules. No Death Riders ringside, no Brody King ringside. It's just Bandito,
no interference.
Just Moxley. So this one's going to be good.
Next, we have Shota Umino versus Pac for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. I really don't know about this. I know nothing about Umino.
Mm-hmm.
Again, thinking more, business-like, I find it hard that they're going to give Pac the belt.
Yeah.
But again, Pac continues to grow on me, man. He is a freak athlete. He can do whatever the heck he wants. Again, watching those table spots with him and Darby again, just like kind of reignited my appreciation for him. Next, we have Thekla taking on Starlight Kid for the AEW Women's World Championship. We saw a little bit of the back and forth with this. We got a little bit of a shot of Starlight Kid back in Japan, kind of cutting a promo about coming over and taking the title. Thekla basically being like, I don't like you. I don't like Japan. I got kicked out. I'm going to take your mask off and hock a loogie in it. So
Kinda
Thekla
dope.
retains.
Kind of dope.
Thekla went back to Japan in the Tactocata again.
Next, we have Mercedes Moné versus Maya World. Now, again, this was unexpected for me. I did not expect Maya to get here.
Mm-hmm.
She was taking on Athena in the semifinals.
Yep.
You know, and they have a whole like student teacher, right? Like, and again, there's literally the like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to do this moments and all that. And Maya wins on this awesome roll up, and Monet even comes out, right, gives her a big hug. They're all like,
yeah, they
look
celebrate.
at this, what a great accomplishment. Women lifting up women until women are knocking down women. And Athena clotheslines her, and they just put the boots to her. Like, they start stomping her out. Mercedes locks in the statement maker. Dude, if they do this right, Maya is gonna win and frickin' explode. Like, if they do this right, like, this could be everything for pushing this next part of the women's title forward.
I posted this in the Discord as well, but Fightful reported that Toni Storm was supposed to win the Owen to go up against Thekla again and potentially win back her title. Maya World coming in and performing like she has. She's been a fantastic enhancement talent when... who's her tag team partner? I forget. Hyan, yes, thank you. They're fantastic as enhancement talent, but her inclusion here in the Owen, and her performances, especially against Athena, the roll-up win was fantastic. This is going to be a killer match. This is going to be really good.
So, we have Kenny Omega versus Zack Sabre Jr. in a singles match. Let me see. I'll watch Kenny. I would watch Kenny wrestle a broomstick. I'd watch him wrestle Moppy for some of you old school heads out there. Like, and he'd have a 5-star match.
A 7-star match? Are you kidding me?
I bet Plank would kick his ass.
You watch your goddamn mouth. In the men's Owen Hart Cup final, we have Will Ospreay taking on Swerve Strickland. I have loved everything kind of about this back and forth. They cut an awesome promo back and forth this week. Which I wrote a lot more that we don't have time for, but basically comes down to Swerve saying Will has changed. Right? Will has changed. That no one has any idea why Will went back to the Death Riders after what they did to his neck. Swerve even brings up Will's new wife. He's like, your wife doesn't even know why you did it. They have wrestled 5 times.
Ooh.
Will won the first one, has not won since.
Wow.
There have been, a couple different promotions. Swerve wins. There's been a draw in there, right? A couple other things. So again, the idea that that Ospreay just can't beat Swerve anymore now that it's not their first time together. It gets to the point where they're going back and forth, and Ospreay just pops Swerve. Just after knocking the mic out of his hand too already. Some major disrespect stuff. Kind of floors him. Immediately Nana gives him the chain, and they're playing cat and mouse with the chain. And then we hear, is it Angels? Oh, it's Death Rider coming out to even the score. So literally, Swerve just stands in the ring, grabs a mic, just reiterates, Will, you've changed, and dips. And I just love this idea of change. Like, especially at this point in life, it's like, right, like people are like, you changed. It's like, so many things. I grew up. I figured something out, right? Change is good, right? And, I think there's just a lot to be said there about that whole thing. But I do also like after, because about 2 segments later in the back, Danny Garcia is talking to Ospreay. And it's like, you gonna let him do that to you? And Ospreay just went full me in college mode and picked him up and pinned him again. And he's like, you think I need to do that from you? And then Moxley comes in, and he's like, it was all just words that can only hurt you if you let them. They use words when they have nothing else. Don't lose control. Don't lose focus. Again, unbelievable. I cannot wait to see when this whole Death Riders thing closes out. One other thing I have to bring up before we get into the finale, watching Collision, I did try and call 1-800-GUNS-UP after the info commercial.
Yeah, the infomercial about Juice Robinson's
Not enough numbers.
Totally safe and regular dog neutering clinic.
Something like that. Yeah, but it didn't work.
is one number short.
I thought, but I'm like, AEW could do something with this. Like,
I was elected to produce the podcast, not to do numbers.
Well, I only know that because Got Junk is one more letter.
Oh, okay.
So 1-800 Junk. 1-800 Guns Up.
Well, wait. Are you spelling gun with one N?
Oh.
Yeah. See. We can try again.
so in the main event.
In the main event,
We have
In
Team
the main
Briscoe
event.
of Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick
fun.
Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Konosuke Takeshita, and Darby Allin taking on MJF and the Don Callis families, Kevin Knight, Kyle Fletcher, Jake Doyle, Kazuchika Okada, and Andrade El Idolo. Did I do it?
Yeah.
Let's go! And this is a steel cage match.
Steel cage.
There's a lot of homies in a
Dude,
steel
that's
cage.
like again, this
I
is not
know.
a War Games 2 rings
Yeah.
like 5-on-5. This is 12 dudes in, and again, I wonder what the actual, maybe they mentioned it right because again, some steel cage matches it's still pinfall or submission, it's escape. Could this be some kind of elimination style like only escape, but then like you're done, you can't interfere. And if Briscoe's team wins, he will get an AEW World Championship match against MJF. Considering they did this match this Saturday, past Saturday on Collision, and the heels one, right? Again, the Booker and business guy in me is like, okay, so the baby faces will stand tall this weekend. You now get to reignite MJF and Briscoe. That can take you to All In,
Yeah.
right? And then go from there.
It's funny. So, well, that's Forbidden Door. We'll have an update for you on all of the events that happen at Forbidden Door, all the shenanigans, all the action. Anything else you guys want to say before we head out?
Who do you think would win in a tables, ladders, and chairs match? Prince Nana or Stokely?
Stokely would fight so dirty.
Stokely would
first thing Stokely would do is try and take his eyes out.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even care.
Nana can actually move, and Stokely has some stuff in the bag.
Yeah.
But I think Stokely would win just because of the shenanigans.
Just because of the tricks he's got up his sleeve.
And because, like, what? If it's tables, ladders, and chairs, so you're going to allow outside interference.
Yeah, but
FTR is definitely going to run out.
Can either of them reach the top of a table?
Look, we know if Stokely stands on the apron, he can go through a flaming table.
Can he? Has he?
Find out more next time.
Well, maybe I'll remember next time on the C Show. Of course you like the C Show. Make sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share it with your friends. Support the show directly at ko-fi.com/C-Show-pod. $1 a month gets you access to the Discord and the C Show archive. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube at C Show Pod. Have a question for the boys? Send it in an email, cshowpod@gmail.com. Thanks to our friends Amir, Patrick, and Justin for their assistance. The C Show is a production of 832 Media. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.
Next, we have Kenny Omega versus Zach. Right?
Sabre.
It is Sabre. Fuck!
Sabre.
I was going to say, I literally
Sabre.
almost went, and Sabre.
Zach is Rayleigh Hummus Jr.